What if I wanted to add the range B7 through E7? What would I do? If you're dealing with more than one set of numbers or a range, remember the colon means everything in between, that's where you use a function. So then, what is our function to add numbers together in math? Good. So it's just sum, because that's what we're going to do with the range of numbers. Okay, so this is saying whatever numbers exist in this range, I'm going to add them together and display the outcome. What if I wanted to average this range? Good. Same thing. Because it's a range of numbers, it's always going to be some type of function. Average. Notice what changes. It's just the function itself. This tells Excel what to do with all the numbers that exist in your range. Okay, so you have the function over here and a range of numbers, whereas a formula, you have an operator and at least two cell references. What if I wanted to multiply B7 from by? So multiply. Well, how would I write that? Multiply. And notice what changes, just the operator. Okay, so that's the difference between the functions and the formulas. Questions on those? Anytime it says subtract, there is no function for subtraction. Some people will try to do this, and then they'll do C7 minus B7. It's not correct. It'll actually give you the correct answer on the cell, but this is not right. It's not going to use this. You're not going to add a negative. You would take this and add it. That would become a negative number. It doesn't work that way. So don't do it like that. So if it's talking, sometimes when it says add the values in this range, it'll say don't use individual cell references, which means the other way to write this without the formula would be and all the way through the entire range. Okay. So the function saves us from having to do all of this. Okay, good. Any questions? Functions versus formulas. All right. I'll go through a couple more things in Excel. Get the lights right here. How would I auto fit column A? Notice that we have the pound signs Anytime you see this, it means that the values are too large for the column, so it just truncates it. So how would I auto-fit column A? Good. Hold the mouse between A and B, get the double arrow, double click. Good. How would I display the formulas of the worksheet? Two ways to do it. One is in formulas, and it says show formulas right here in the audit group. Becomes a toggle button, toggle on, toggle off. The other way to do it is the control and the little grave symbol on the keyboard, control, and it'll show it as well. So either way, it'll work. You can't do the control grave symbol on a Mac. So if you memorize the toolbars up here, that will work just fine on any computer rather. How do we select non-adjacent range? If I wanted to create a pie chart with the non-adjacent range A5 through A16 and C5 through C16, how would I do it?
You highlight one and take the control, highlight one.
Good. First thing you want to do, especially in these simulators, is first highlight your first range and touch nothing. Then on the keyboard, hold the control key and then select the second range. What happens a lot of times is the cursor's over here and you go ahead and you press control and you select this range too and this, but you have this block highlighted. Or a lot of times the simulator starts the mouse down there, and if you hold the control key, select, looks like you have the correct range, but in fact, you also have a block highlighted down here as well. So always select your range first, because notice once you click somewhere else, everything deselects. Select your range first, then hold your control key, then select the next range. Then it says create a pie chart with that, so how would I do that? If it doesn't tell you 2D versus 3D, then it's this pie chart, the very first one. Just click on it. Okay, if I wanted to scale to print this document to one page, how would I do so? Page layout. There was print tiles. It's not going to happen in your simulator, but it could in some of your activities because you're going to see this again in the next couple chapters. If this is grayed out, most of the time it's because an object is selected. My chart's still selected, so just click somewhere else and then you can see it. Right there, our rows to repeat. Scale into one page. In the scale to fit, you have them right here, width and height. Just choose whichever one. So if we want both, we just choose them. Don't forget about the copy options. If you'll highlight this area, it tells you to copy it. Then it'll tell you to paste. I've got paste keeping the source format. So if I want you to paste it on a new sheet, once you click the paste button, don't forget about this, this special paste here. Hold the mouse over to check which one it wants you to use. There's keep source formatting. So just pay attention to which type of paste it wants you to do. If it just wanted values, you would come down here to values. And then the only other function you'll see on there is the count function. So if I wanted to know, let's move this out of the way, how many dates we have here, we can count them. So we use the count function just like we do all the other functions in this chapter. Just count. If you type the function and open the parentheses, then you can push the function button and you'll have the function arguments window. Has the value there. Most of the time it'll give you a range, so you can just select that range. That's okay. And it'll tell me how many dates I have for snowfall. It's going to count if a value exists. All right, questions? Those are the common questions people miss. Do you guys have any questions as you went through the training exercise?
The midterm's going to be just like the training?
Yes. You'll have the questions mixed up. You'll have some of them, not always all of them, and just mix it around. I don't surprise you with any questions you haven't seen before, so you'll see all the same questions you've been practicing. Any other questions? Everybody made it through the trainings pretty well? Again, the most important part about taking the simulated training is to learn what the simulator is looking for and where not to click. Because you'll have 5 attempts on each question, and then after that it marks it wrong and moves on. So just make sure you know how to get all the questions correctly from the simulator. Okay, that's the review for that, and we'll